Hello everyone, this is Zeno here, and I just started Act 9. This is my RF Trickster. Now RF Trickster's been done before, but mine has a interesting twist where I'm using Incinerate with cast when channeling Flame Surge. Flame Surge is a pretty damn strong multiplier. You get a 1.5 times multiplier if the targets are burning, so RF will already accomplish that. And we are using the new support gem with this Immolate, which will scale both the Incinerate and the Flame Surge so long as targets are burning. Not to mention, Immolate's damage will then get a 1.5 multiplier from Flame Surge when the targets are burning. So if you look here, Immolate, it says specifically, supported skills deal 106 to 159 added fire damage against burning enemies. And then I'm running Elemental Focus because these guys don't need to ignite because RF already accomplishes the burning ground effect. So we're just going raw damage. Fire Pen, Immolate, Elemental Focus. I don't use Control Destruction because the off chance that this Flame Surge does crit will yield me Elemental Overload. And on top of that, Elemental Focus is 5% more damage than Control Destruction is anyways. I'm using Orbistorms to proc my Elemental Overload and Arcane Surge per usual. I'm still using Sybil's Paw, which I'll probably replace late game with a Doriani's Catalyst or some kind of ridiculous Ellie Pen weapon that I have yet to craft. I'm wearing the Oak. Series Foible, Apraxis, just a standard life ring, life resistance, life resistance, life resistance. Alright, so here's the build. Put on RF. Currently running 3k health, and this is a Mind Over Matter variant. So, for the most part, I don't have to stop to do anything unless I need to kill a monster. Monsters just die because RF. I don't even have that much HP, at least right now. Elemental Overload is probably the highest consistent damage that I could get other than my standard support gem, so it's really important that I drop, what's it called? My Orbistorms. So just like any old standard RF build, RF will do a majority of the clear on packs, and then my Incinerate and Flame Surge is my single target buffer. And I have yet to experience any type of difficulty against any boss, truly. RF is disgusting, it does a million damage, and there's a reason why I don't play it often, because it is entirely meta. However, hopefully this Mind Over Matter variant paired up with Incinerate and Flame Surge will work out well for us. Currently only level 59. At 68, I do plan on buying a Dying Sun and wielding that, because Dying Sun will give me LMP to my Incinerate, and it will give me AoE to both my RF and my Flame Surge. So Dying Sun is stupidly strong for this build. Running around with the extra LMP will be quite nice. Yeah, if the Incinerate touches you, you pretty much die. If you're within the circle, the amount of extra damage you get from Immolate is pretty stupid. And obviously, getting the extra AoE from Dying Sun will allow me to not be as close when I'm casting. As long as the ring is on them, we're good to go. Alright, let's see how I do against an Abyss. So this is the exact... Actually, this place is one level higher than what I'm supposed to be at. So normally when people show you Blood Aqueducts, they're like over-leveled. This is me just now arriving into this content. So you know what you're getting yourself into. I put on Righteous Fire at level 20-ish. I put on 2 Kikazarus. I had the Life Spring chest, whatever it is. Sprig Leaf. Life Spring is the wand. Though I still use that too for a while. It gave me +1 levels to gems, so I put Purity of Fire in there when I got it. What is that? Is that Bronzelith? Maybe. All these Abyss monsters everywhere. That's kind of weird that this chest just popped out on this boat, which is riding on top of blood. That is really odd. I'm not so sure about that one, GG. I remain unconvinced. So I'm currently degenerating on both my mana and my life. Only 30% right now. There is a little bit of a hiccup with this build, and I was hoping it was coded properly and or meant to work the way I wanted it to work, and I'm going to discuss it and why I chose Trickster once I'm in my hideout. Just giving you guys a quick run. There's a mana node that Trickster gets that is, honestly, it's pretty damn good. My biggest problem with it is it doesn't work with channeling skills. I thought it might work with cast when channeling skills, and that node is Weave the Arcane. Let me put this skill point in here real quick. I'm going to Constitution at the moment. Alright, so Weave the Arcane, what it's supposed to do is 20% chance to recover 10% of your max mana when you use a skill. So whenever I cast Incinerate, you only get it on the first part. Each individual cast will not proc this, so it feels bad. At one point in time, I thought maybe Flame Surge will work with it. So we're going to let my mana degen out here a little bit. I should be fine. Now, if you look here, I'm just expending my mana, right? And I'm not getting any of that mana back from recovering. I'm using a pot right now, and still I have yet to get any recovery back. So, my biggest problem with this is the cast when channeling and the actual channeling skill cannot proc it. However, if I just use plain old Flame Surge, let me just do this, maybe I'll get some mana back. You'll see right here, hopefully, let me just do this. When I start casting, you'll see like my mana shoot up, like that. Let's just let it burn off again. Now, I could run Flame Surge Spell Echo, but then we lose the Incinerate, which feels bad. However, I'd get that mana, that jump to mana, which allowed me to sustain really, really well as a Mind Over Matter character. Without it, though, it's like, yeah, it feels pretty bad. So I could Spell Echo and go to town like that. I honestly really like the amount of damage I get from this cast when channeling Incinerate Flame Surge. Honestly, it's a ton of damage. It's just that on top of Incinerate's bonus damage. I actually quite like it. So, let's talk about the rest of my Ascendancy. This still does give mana and mana regen and reduce damage taken after spending mana. Patient Reaper here. Patient Reaper is OP. So let's discuss this. This is how I was able to go RF right away. So Patient Reaper makes it so I get 40% increased damage over time and 4% attack and cast speed. So you get 40. That's just the raw passive damage. And then this guy right here, let's see. Wow, am I seriously not degenning anymore? Oh, when I hit low life, I get 3% regen from the Oak. So I could actually forever sustain right here. Divination Distillate would be pretty good right now. Alright, so we'll just teeter out this HP for the rest of this discussion. So Patient Reaper, whenever I kill with the DOT, my life, mana, and recovery rate my life, mana, and energy shield recovery rate is multiplied by 1.7. So whenever RF gets a kill, or blight, or poison, you get a 1.7 multiplier to all sources of recovery. That includes Weave the Arcane to the best of my knowledge, because that is recovering 10% of your mana. So that makes Weave the Arcane even better for self-cast Flame Surge. And I'm debating doing it late game. As long as I could sustain Incinerate, I'm going to use Incinerate. But this node, missing out on that extra mana pump might be a good and bad thing all in the same. My next node is pretty interesting. It's Swift Killer. So I get increased DOT per Frenzy and Power Charge. And I get +1 Frenzy and Power Charge. Which means that Trickster gets a global multiplier from Frenzy Charges for a Righteous Fire. And an increased modifier to Righteous Fire through both Frenzy and Power Charges. And a way to generate them. What I'm planning on swapping to, currently I'm wearing a +1 Frenzy, it's Series Foible, which is pretty insane, and I don't know if I should take it off. And I would be replacing it with Eiler Dex, which is +1 Frenzy, +1 Max Power Charge. I've had this all league. Does it give as much mana and mana regen as Foible? No, but it does give +1 Power Charge, make your Power Charges purple, and then give them a Mind Over Matter effect. So my idea behind this build is late game to run a Cloak of Defiance 6-link with an Eiler Dex to turn most of my degen from RF onto mana, which means that I just have to go out of my way for mana regen. Like, just stack mana regen, and go to town. And then have a little bit on my life. Though, maybe I should keep some of it on my life. I don't know. I'm up in the air on what to do. Mana burns out more than anything else currently right now. And I'm still using Praxis and Foible. Like, that is a big amount of mana right there. And I'm running 2.1k mana. And as you can see, my RF has no problems just chewing through it. If I pop any of my flasks, though, however, like if I pop this guy right here, makes me a lot more resistant, and I could pop, go right back up and everything. Now keep in mind, this is what without Patient Reaper. With Patient Reaper, I get that extra regen to both my mana and my my life. And also I drop Arcane Surge, which gives a multiplier, or gives a little bit of sustained mana regen. So in my hideout, it's a completely different story. you know. So my RF right now, its damage is mediocre, mostly because my life is pretty low. Mana doesn't really give you any damage to RF. Only life and energy shield does. So with that said, you're only going to get as much damage as you do max health. So going a pure life or pure ES based RF build will probably be better in terms of just strictly righteous fire damage. But I think I should be able to do more than fine because I haven't even picked up Sign Life Wheel. This build should be able to hit 7k life just because of the amount of HP you get anyways from an RF build. I'm not sure if I'm going to use I'll probably end up using a Leo crafted shield late game just because I have so many counters. I have a lot of interesting modifiers to this build which help me level up as RF. So when you get to Act 6, the Aberath, which is the second god you end up killing, he gives you reduced fire damage taken while moving. And then Act 7 boss will give you reduced damage taken from damage over time effects. So if you're still having problems sustaining RF, you can always use those. Those will be more than fine. Oh, Carrion Crow, hell yeah. Honestly, Righteous Fire we're at the point in the game where if you make a Righteous Fire build, it's really hard for it to not work. Like, Righteous Fire is quite arguably the strongest skill in the game, mostly because it doesn't lag anything. There's no skill to be cast. So mobs aren't making these annoying... I mean, you're not hitting a bunch of mobs with an ice shot and covering the screen with, chilled ground and lagging everything. You just run on top of them, they die, and that's it. That's it. So Righteous Fire, along with any other type of DOT effect, is by itself, it doesn't work against the game. I mean, it doesn't work with the game. It doesn't lag. So in itself, Righteous Fire is already like one of the best skills in the game for that very logic. Unfortunately, as good as Path of Exile is, the engine in which this game is built is most certainly not optimized, and because of that, take any kind of freebie like this where you can, You already have to deal with the rain, Kappa. So Righteous Fire is amazing for no lag. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass to manage the degen at level 20, but with a Kikuzaro and the Ruby Flask, you should be more than fine to just stand there. And obviously you get Patient Reaper as your first Ascendancy for Trickster. My last note is either going to be the 5% dodge or movement skills cost no mana. I really don't think I need it, but we'll see. All the generic cast speed and attack speed I get is pretty good, but I am cast when channeling, so it's not amazing. I'm still debating again whether or not I should just go self-cast Flame Surge for that amazing mana recovery node. That's up in the air, but I'm really disappointed in the fact that... Well, I knew Incinerate wouldn't work with the cast... I knew channeling skills didn't proc that Trickster node. I wasn't sure if the cast when channeled skills would be under the same fate, and sadly, they are. So, I'm not sure if that's intended design or just it hasn't been coded properly, because GGG has a tendency of releasing things and then, well, now that that's released, I guess we'll go about our day and go release something else now. So they kind of like just leave it there for a little bit unless people complain enough, or they catch it, which is rare. So, unfortunately, what's the name of this node, just for the sake of this video? Weave the Arcane does not work with channeled skills. It does not work with the cast when channeled skills. And honestly, it'd be amazing if it does. Feels bad. I was a little let down by that. I heard from the grapevine conflicting things that... everyone said the same thing. Channeled skills will not affect Weave the Arcane. And some people said that the cast with channeled skills do. And then some people said it does not. So I had to test it for myself. Feels bad. Doesn't work. Yeah, in terms of bossing, I beat Act 8 boss stupidly fast. Every single boss I've pushed to their, invulnerability phases nearly instantly. And it feels good saying that, just because RF's damage is decent, and then my single target with this Immolate setup just shreds through things. I have zero problems right now against single target anything. So, if you guys want to see me come play this build, I plan on leveling today when I get back from school, making a quick little YouTube guide before I get home from school, or before I even go to school. Hey, that's not bad. I think I'll save it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you want to hear about any of my other builds, you could always tune into my live stream, which is my main social media platform. Oscar, what do you think about that? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyways, I think we're going to head out. And, yeah. I think we'll call this video done for the day. Cheers, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys on my live stream. I'm Zeno. Thanks for watching. I'm out.